The name of the show is The Way to Go. Tonight's guest is Cecilia Black. My name's Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Welcome to the show, Cecilia.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Cecilia, it's nice to make new friends. I guess, you know, another wonderful person from a good friend of ours, JT.
Yeah.
So, Cecilia, you're an actress.
Yes.
You're a model.
That too.
You're a dancer.
That too.
And you're also in public relations.
That too, yes.
So,
creative directing from now, yes.
So, I mean, it must be, it's great to have people who are more than one-dimensional, you know what I mean? So do you think they all blend together, or do they all help each other?
I mean, do you mean, my work?
Yes.
Yeah, basically I would say yes. I'm a complex creature, with character as well. So I would say, yeah, it's the entertainment industry, all of it basically, and PR as well. Yeah, I just recently got that title as a creative director for a model agency. So, and that's going to work as I'm going to be a writer for this news magazine we're going to do as well about modeling. So, and yeah, new ideas, input.
So, if you, I hear an accent. Where are you from?
Actually, originally I'm from Scandinavia, Denmark, small country.
So when did you first come to the United States?
That's like, I would say 5 years ago, yeah.
And what were you pursuing acting or dancing? Why did you come to the United States?
Why I came in the first place, I would say that was probably to get away from Europe a little bit. The thing is with Europe that everything is so conservative, especially in Scandinavia. It's very conservative, a little bit pessimistic, narrow-minded, not really a place to unfold and be creative. And I just had too much energy as a person. So I left for the States a while, and I made good friends over here, and my network's been here for 5 years. And I just, it wasn't because it had to be New York. It just happened to be that way. I adore people here. They're always so pleasant and nice and respond very positively to me. So.
But do you prefer the East Coast to the West Coast, or you like both coasts?
I mean, everything about the States, I guess. Like Miami as well, California.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I have friends there too, but New York is my place because everything's possible here.
So when you were in Denmark, did you study acting and dance and things like that?
I did actually go to the official school of acting in Denmark, Copenhagen, yes.
And did you dream about becoming being an actress? And
I don't know, not in the beginning. I started out as with modeling for this agency called Dream Models, and Sarah, that owned the model agency, was quite famous already by herself. And we started to do these documentaries for modeling and stuff like that, behind scenes. And at the same time, I worked as a dancer for these bands, and this one called Nick and Jay.
What type of music was it?
That was R&B, hip-hop.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I would say it's probably no more than 2-3 years ago I started acting. So in 2010, I did this major movie, Clown, this comedy movie.
And where was that filmed?
That was filmed in Copenhagen, yeah, with these two comedians, quite famous guys.
So was it seen throughout Denmark?
That too, and actually they did make it into an international movie in the States too.
So is that when you, well, you had already been to the States already. You had gone back and forth at that point.
Yeah, I tried as much as possible. New York is an expensive city, obviously, but yes, I did.
So what other films have you worked on?
I've done a couple of TV shows in Denmark, but that's just all Danish ones, but mostly comedy because this goofy personality in some ways. So yeah, it's I wouldn't translate it, but one of them are called Happiness in English, probably called in Danish different version.
So do you see yourself? I mean, obviously you've done different things in the arts. You're a model, you're a dancer. You've done different ways of expressing yourself and putting yourself out there. Do they all give you equal satisfaction, or is there anyone that is more fun than the other? Or,
I would say to be my work, or be that character that's basically my work, being myself. Right. In other expressions, yes. That means the most to me. Dancing, modeling was one chapter. I still do some of it, not so much dancing though, modeling still a little bit, but acting is probably my major interest.
And yeah, it's my passion too. Yeah. I mean, it gives me, I mean, I love doing this show, believe it or not. I mean, it's a great show. I get to meet beautiful women, and I get to hang out with my father a lot of times on the show too, and some nice guys as well. But it's a fun show. But acting to me, there's nothing like it. I mean, it's when you're in that moment, and it's like real. Yeah. But it's not really real, but it's real. It's whatever that moment when you're really cooking. There's nothing like it. You know?
No, it's I would say, for me, I don't feel like I'm acting. I try to tell myself this is just a part or a scene of my own life, right. In a way. So I don't really feel like I have to enter this other personality, because I am complex and I'm very flexible, especially in my own personality, so I can easily create. Right. So that way it's easier for me to act, and I love it. It means the world to me. And
do you I wonder if the European schools are different than the United States schools, because I think that I've met other European people, and they just seem to have actors and actresses as well, and they have less things blocking them. You know, it's like they seem to be much more free to express themselves. I don't know if that's been your maybe.
Well, I would say that's funny because, well, in some ways, I think it's because when we come over here, yes. We are able to express ourselves on full on a different level, not in Scandinavia. But here, it's people are just, you're allowed to be yourself. You're not really allowed to have too much energy or, whatever.
Would you consider doing drama? Do you think, is that something that...
Drama series, yeah, of course. I mean, I love horror movies as well. I really do. I watch
I've done so many horror movies. Oh my God, that's like all I do. And some of them are horrible, but no, just kidding. No, but some of them are pretty good.
Different version, yeah. Well, yeah, I could do a little bit of everything, I guess, but what I like the most is comedy.
Yeah, but I could see you definitely. I mean, they usually do have beautiful women in horror movies for whatever reason.
That's true, yeah.
I mean,
like Paris Hilton.
Yeah, they always, like, something's happening to a really pretty girl, yeah.
Always,
And that's always like a horrible thing, or horrifying thing, put it that way. So,
what I would like to once, my dream role or part would probably be something like Lara Croft in Tomb Raider.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I ran into their family at Disneyland in the 80s, and I was going up to John Voight, and he had his kids with him, and I went up to him at Disneyland to try to get his autograph, and him and the kids started running, because like, who's this guy coming up with the autograph? And they just ran away from me. But, and I think back, I wonder if she was there, because there was a girl there. It might have been her.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You never know. It's weird when you look back. Yeah. I also worked on a show that was called First and 10 that starred O.J. Simpson. And he had like this beautiful blonde lady that was going back and forth from him to the trailer. And, you start thinking, are these the characters that played out later in life,
Yeah, so when you think of that, too.
It's kind of crazy. But yeah, Tomb Raider, and that's Lara Croft. Yeah, Lara Croft.
I would say it's probably because that's my own personality more privately. I have this like license for weapons at home and stuff like that. I'm a bit of a tomboy in some ways as well, so I kind of like that stuff too.
Okay, that's cool. So you were also a dancer. Like, what type of dance did you do?
That was I think the term is probably show dancing, music videos, but like. Yeah, real dancing though, not really just like.
So like, is that seems like it might be a very competitive field. I mean, I guess or is it not? I don't know.
No,
how does it
not
work?
Really.
No.
No, I mean, I never see things like that. My perspective of things is we are all different. Right. We all our own character. We have our very unique look. So I don't feel I'm not really in the need of competition. Right. I've never thought, I don't know, maybe it is like that, but it's never really been for me.
But I think you're right, though. I think that, when you go for auditions or whatever, people are looking for a specific person, a specific type.
More edgy or details.
So it's not, I mean, you're not going to compete with someone who's different than you are. I mean, they're either looking for you or they're not looking for you.
Yes.
And you're either presenting yourself the best you can or you're not. So Sorry, I got a cough.
Yeah, you need to be prepared, yeah. Okay. Well, it is cold outside. Freezing degrees.
So, do you have any auditions coming up, or do you have anything planned?
I have a small part, but it's not really official yet, but the 25th. So I can't say more than that.
But, well, what type of character?
That's in a boy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. Well, I'm just getting started over here.
Is this through JT as well?
That's JT as well, yes.
Yeah, JT, he's a great guy, and he actually is involved in this movie that I'm involved in now. So I'm going to be playing a judge on the 30th.
Ooh, wow!
Which is, and I have this like monologue that's like a full page, and it's actually him and this guy Andy Troy. I don't know if you met Andy yet, but he's he was on this show. He's a good friend, and he's also the filmmaker of this movie called Scars of a Predator.
Sounds
maybe
scary.
that might is that the movie that you're going to be in? Do you know? Or?
He actually didn't even mention a title, so
it
I'm
might
not
be that
sure.
one.
Maybe
it might be because there is a bar scene, and.
Oh yeah, that might be. Well, everything happened so fast, so you know.
Yeah, it's
I'm
interesting.
flying around.
But it's a feature. This is actually a feature film, so it should be interesting.
Perfect. Wow.
And I love the fact that I'm going to have one day of shooting. I don't have to worry about it because I have my full-time job.
Yeah.
See, how do you plan to manage everything? Because you're doing all these different things.
I have a lot of energy. No.
But scheduling wise, because
yeah.
if you're going to be you're going to be working as a public relations person.
Yes. Well, this particular person that I'm going to work for is from Scandinavia as well. I've met them before. We had this meeting, 7-hour meeting the other day, and we just need to sign a contract. I told them they know I'm into acting. I'm an actress as well. They know that, and I schedule my own time basically because I'm gonna have a lot of interns that's basically is gonna work for me. So all I need to do is supervise basically, make sure that read things through and make sure it gets published in the magazine.
Would you have to be in the office to do that, or is this stuff that you could do virtually?
Yeah, mostly probably, yes.
So that's good. That's a good thing.
Exactly.
Because
perfect job title, right? Online.
Online is right, because if you do it online, you could be on the set and you could be doing it.
Yeah,
I'm in the office.
Yeah.
It's tough because my job, I have to be there like 9 to, well, not 9 to, I get there at 7:30 in the morning and I leave at 5:30 or whatever, 4:30, 5. But it's like 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
And, but, I got 2 kids and a wife. What am I going to do? So, and acting. The other thing about acting that I find interesting, when I acted in Hollywood, I used to get paid for everything I did. In New York.
That's a good story.
In New York, it's, at least at this time, most of the independent films that I'm working on and some of the even some of the independent television shows, you don't make that much money, or sometimes you don't make any money. And again, I'm not doing it for the money, but I could see people who are actors and actresses saying, like being very discouraged by that because how do you eat, So,
yeah, if that's all you do and you're freelance at the same time, obviously that's difficult. I never really saw it as something I only wanted to do because I have so many hobbies and interests, and I read a lot of psychology, nanotechnology as well, science. I love science. It means the world to me too. So I'm able to create.
Yeah, but that's good. So, I mean, the thing is, I think if you're going to do acting, you just have to try to eliminate the financial thing, because if it happens, it happens, and when it happens, it does happen sometimes really well.
Yeah.
But you can't expect it. You can only. But if you're passionate about it, you got to do it. If you don't do it, you'll be unhappy.
Exactly. It's just I take it very easy when it comes to that. I just exactly as you said, it's gonna come if it's gonna come, and I'm just used to it's freelance work. It's always been like that. Model industry, dancing, acting, it's all freelance.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about modeling. Now, I mean, we'll show some pictures of some of your modeling shots. But how long were you a model? And you're currently a model too. I mean,
I would say still a little bit, but never my major interest though. I would say probably around 10 years, something like that.
So how'd you become a model? Did someone come up to you and say, "Wow, you're beautiful. Let's make you a model"?
Actually, it may seem completely plain, but I actually just sent in some pictures and.
Oh, that's how it worked?
that's just how it worked, basically.
And it was in Denmark?
That was in Denmark, yes, for Sarah Farrington. I just sent in a couple of pictures, and I'm like, yeah, let's see, whatever.
And then what happened?
And she came back to me and she said, yeah, sure, you're hired. So we made a contract.
What kind of, I mean, when you found out you were hired, I mean, what was that like? I mean,
that was pretty cool. I would say as a child, I was always this very humble kid, very down to earth, almost too easygoing, and a little bit insecure because of it, because I was kind of a pleaser in some ways. I
think a lot of actors and actresses are like that. I think that, because I'm the same, I'm always tried to please my father, never quite did it. But anyway, continue.
Well, I would say, it meant a lot to me to make my friends happy, to say so. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't even remember how it made me feel.
But it must have been like, oh my God, you know, like, and now what? So what happened?
Happy,
I mean, so you went down there and they took test shots, or how? I don't even know anything about the modeling industry.
Well, yeah, I already had a couple of pictures, but we did some new ones, and they turned out pretty well. And for me to see myself from the outside all of a sudden, and you know, you're like, what, a teenager basically, and you've never really seen that. You've never really seen how you react or people respond to yourself from the outside. And that was different. It's like being here right now, but be able to see yourself out here at the same time. And I was able all of a sudden to actually, I'm born with heightened senses, to say so. I'm very highly, not emotionally, but very sensitive. So I have a great focus on people and just my surroundings in general. And all of a sudden, I could kind of, the way I learned things was to follow up around around myself at the same time. So, and I was told once by this NLP coach, which I've been studying as well, that wasn't really very healthy.
What was that, NLP?
NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know what that was. Okay. And I was like, whenever I have meetings, you know, at work, and someone says like, you know, IDA or whatever, I'd say, could you please tell me what that means? Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Well, yeah, that's a very interesting type of psychology for business people, to say so.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very filtered. It's fun. You learn how to use your abilities, and I already had them. This heightened sensibility to focus on people, to read them faster, and use this business-wise, basically. So.
Well, it seems to have. It's helped you, right? I mean, it's and it's whether it helps you or not, it's within you. So I mean, it's part of you. It's interesting. So
I like to read people, in general.
Yeah. I only went to I had one photo shoot in my entire life, and that was the result of a commercial. And the one thing I noticed was that they needed me for 15 minutes, and I made $1,200. So to me, that, you know, it was like, wow, you know, $1,200 for 15 minutes, and it was just, they did like, you know, maybe one roll of film, and that was it. See you later, bye. And it was like, okay. So there's something really amazing about this whole model or photo shoot kind of thing. It's just crazy. It's,
yeah, I would say the salary is pretty high for the things you do. I would say the hours sometimes can be like 12 hours a day, but it's worth it. The only thing I see as that can be tough sometimes is probably you need a lot of energy, so you really need to make sure that you get the right sleep and enough hours. And
especially if you want to do it the healthy way. If you don't do it the healthy way, then you do it like a lot of American models, I guess, do it with. That's not healthy.
No, I've always been very sensible.
That's good. Well, it's a tough. I mean, even regular showbiz. I mean, just, you know, acting and all this stuff. You become so conscious of your physical being. You know, especially, I'm 58 years old now. I'm not getting so conscious, but when I was younger, I'd look and, you know, say, oh my God, there's a gray hair, whatever. You know, things like that. You start thinking. Yeah, once you start looking at yourself that way, that ruins everything. So I think you just have to let yourself be free and just be who you are and just try to do the best you can.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I would say I would like to be timeless, but obviously you wouldn't always be that. It stops at a certain age, and it's basically almost anything in that. I mean, in the entertainment industry, except acting.
Right.
I think even for modeling as well.
Yes.
The age is kind of like they pushed it a bit, because the photographers always say that they need something with more. They need a person with more character, personality, you know, better energy, charisma, and younger models don't really have that.
Right.
So they.
But they have some. Yeah, the younger ones have something else, but the older ones do bring the character. That's true.
And that's the most important part by now.
Right,
Yeah.
for communication, I guess. That has to, you know, like I go to work every day and I pass by like this insurance company, the subway at 28th Street opens up and they have these gigantic pictures of senior citizens, you know, doing different things. And because it's life insurance, you know, make sure you got your life. But these pictures are like incredible, and they're all filled with character. You know, it's interesting. And having a 98-year-old dad, knowing that there's an interest in older people, makes life even a little bit more sweet to know that you're not going to stop doing stuff at 70 or 80 or 90. You know, I mean, there's room enough for everyone.
Yeah, by now it is basically a little bit timeless in that industry.
Yeah.
You can do anything at any age by now, and I love that. I think it's less pressure for people by now.
Yeah, but you do play different parts. I remember I played the brother, you know, I played the son, now I play the father, and occasionally I play the grandfather.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's so I mean, but you still play, and it's and the key word to me is play. That it's like it's fun. It's not something that you do. And I tell people who, you know, like I was on a shoot recently, and this guy was saying something like, man, they kept me so long. I hated it. I wanted to get home. If you're not enjoying what you're doing,
yeah, I would say the same. Yeah.
You know, then you're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
You know, just find something to enjoy. If you're doing something and it's making you miserable, then what's the sense of doing it, right?
Exactly. That was what I said earlier. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. Right. I love this, like this type of you are your own character. And that just means the world to me, to be able to do what you love every day and not going to an office at specific times.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you were in Denmark and working as an actress, did you ever do like exterior shots in the cold? You know, I mean, like would it, you know, like in the winter or things like that?
Oh yes.
But you know, the interesting thing that I found, I don't know if you found this, is that. And I've worked when it's freezing outside, like in Brooklyn, you know, that when they say action, you don't feel the cold. You know, it's like for that moment, when you're in that moment, when you're acting, if you know, you're with people who you're really working with well, all of a sudden you don't feel pain, you don't feel cold, you don't feel, and then when they say cut, and then you might start feeling but have you ever experienced that or? Actually,
yes, it's true. I have this very high body temperature basically, so I never really freeze. It's really weird. I don't really feel pain either. I know it's kind of freaky.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a good thing. They call me a superwoman sometimes. No, but yeah, it's true. I do feel the same because it's always hurry up and wait at sets.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, but when you're on it, the adrenaline just pumps up and you get warm and you know it's action basically. So yeah.
I think that, and to me, when that happens, it's like, that's really one of the things I enjoy most, is like just being outside yourself a little bit, you know, or maybe inside yourself. You're saying that maybe it's closer to who you are. But whatever it is, that feeling of like, that the exterior is not going to affect you at all. It's like what you're doing in the moment is the most important thing that you're doing.
Exactly. Just I had to learn how to be present in the moment.
And that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah, and I was so much in my head when I was a child because I was thinking, and I love reading science every day, technology, and just humans, like you know, studying human beings. But I was always up here, and that's not a good thing, especially not when you're a teenager. So. You know, I had my own world.
Yeah, if you start, I know. I have two teenage children. I have a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old, and you know, life can be a struggle when you're younger. You know, and
that's true.
And it can be a struggle when you're older too. But I think it gets a little bit easier as you get older because you start realizing, okay, I figured it out. Yeah. But by the time you figure it out, you're 58 years old. But you know, but it's good.
You don't have to grow up in some ways, you know.
My dad never grew up, and he's 90. I mean, he's grown up, but he still has a young soul. So to me, that's really great.
That's the same for me, I guess. I have like something in between an old soul and a young one as well. I like being a child sometimes.
So I really hope we get the opportunity to work together. I mean, if you're going to be with JT, I'm sure we might even be in the same movie and not even realize it at this point.
That would be so crazy.
It would be good.
That would be so fun. Yeah.
And you'll probably play my daughter, but
well, whatever works. I mean.
I know, yeah, but it's great. I have played like mobsters and stuff, so I've had like.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I actually done that a couple of times, and that's fun. Mobsters is fun. And I did a comedy mobster one, which was even funnier.
A comedy mobster?
Yeah, it was called Stunads. It was a web-based thing, and it was hilarious. But, I mean, it was serious and hilarious at the same time. But,
those ones are the tricky ones, but fun, I can imagine.
It was tough, though. And they didn't have, I guess they had a great idea, but, and we did like a few episodes, like 8 of them. It was a web series, and they dropped it. And I thought it had a future, and it was really good, and a couple of really, really good actors in it, including Vinny Vella, who's like one of JT's friends. And he was that guy was in Casino and all these Robert De Niro movies. I mean, and he's also in Scars of a Predator. So you should be in that movie, because that'll elevate even more your IMDb credit line. But while we're talking though, there'll be some pictures of, we never really got into the modeling, but I mean, to a large extent, but we're going to show some beautiful pictures of you, and we're going to have some beautiful pictures of you just on the video. It's great. But so you know Ken Kushner, right?
Yes, I've met him at the Winter Film Festival. Right. I was supposed to work with these guys at it, but the thing was I wasn't really here much, so I didn't really work out. And the meetings from across
with
Europe,
Ken, you have to make sure that you're around, because when he shoots, it's like a schedule that keeps on. Exactly. I mean, like you have to be available. And,
and I wasn't really, and I was just starting over here when he created that, and I was supposed to be on the team. But I didn't really have a place to stay, and it was expensive for me, and the meetings were every Thursday, and I could just call in basically and be online, but still the time difference was 6 hours.
I can't speak for Ken or JT, but I'm pretty sure you're going to find work. I mean, I could just see from your personality, and I mean, a lot of the things about working with people is the chemistry they have, and you seem to be a really nice person, and I'm really happy I got a chance to meet you. And it was
my pleasure, definitely.
No, it's been really good. As a matter of fact, it's surprising sometimes, because, have people, I mean, this was like, we just found out today that you were going to be on the show.
True, yeah.
And I had never met you before, but I'm so happy I met you, because I know we're going to wind up working together. I know it because we have the same friends. I mean, it's such a, and it's funny. It's such a small community.
It really is. I'm amazed. I was surprised when I came over. I thought everything in New York was about quality and in modeling too. I mean, you understand me correctly, right? Or you misunderstand me correctly. No, especially in modeling, I thought that there was no way I could enter this world over here. But it actually, when it comes down to it, it's a very small circle, and it's about who you trust and who you know.
Right.
So I mean,
it's all about friendship and relationships and
basically, and first of all, and that means so much to me, and I appreciate that deeply and value it deeply. And when it comes to that, I'm extremely loyal, and I think that people know that. Hopefully, I know they can tell when they meet me.
The bad thing that's about television shows are that they usually they come to an end, which is such a drag. It's funny how quickly a show can go, and the anticipation of a show before the show, and then all of a sudden, it's time to go.
Yeah.
But I really want to thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you. Me.
And I hope we get a chance to work together one day.
I hope so too, definitely.
And of course, there's one thing left for me to say. That's a wrap. Good night, everybody.
Good night.